What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph? You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight... Okay, making their debut on the channel tonight. Is a request, gotta do it. We have Black Sabbath. Yes, indeed, how about that? Black Sabbath making their debut on the channel. This is a request from Donna Rizzuto. Donna wanted to see me react to this song by Black Sabbath called War Pigs. Now, full disclosure, have I heard this song before? I can't begin to tell you how many times I've heard this song. I have heard this song more times than I care to count. Not only by Black Sabbath, I've heard Ozzy do it in his solo career. I've heard Faith No More do it as a cover. I've heard lots of bands do this song as a cover. I think, honestly, I think Faith No More probably did the best job of it. But I've heard a lot of bands do this song as a cover. So I know this song inside and out. I have played this song. So I tried to explain this to Donna. And I was like, listen, I understand you want me to react to this, but I gotta be honest with you. I know this song forwards and backwards. And Donna assured me that this is a live performance. Okay, fine. Then we're going to go with that. So here's the deal. I will not be reacting to the song itself in any way, shape, or form because I know the song. It would not be an honest reaction. So I'm not gonna react to the song. I'm not gonna grade the song. I'm not gonna evaluate the song in any way, shape, or form. I am only gonna be grading, evaluating, and reacting to the live performance. How well the band plays it live, stage energy, stage presence, crowd interaction. You know what I'm looking for. All right, so that's how this is gonna work. Just letting you know, just being honest with you guys. Alright, this was posted by Black Sabbath, and the video has 9.1 million views. It'll get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. Link to the original video will be down below in the description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. Black Sabbath, War Pigs, live video. Cool. I hope I made it clear I'm not reacting to the song. I guess we'll find out. All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this.
Got a number now called War Pigs. It's a number 5 new LP.
Wow, old Sabbath. Really old Sabbath. There is 1970.
Gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses.
Now they put the spotlight on.
The fields of bodies burning as the war machine keeps turning. Evil minds that plot destruction. sorcerer of death's construction. Say, where you go, who the war beats people know. Oh, Lord, yeah.
That wasn't the lyrics. They changed the lyrics right there. Honestly, changed the lyrics. Unless, now wait a minute. Now this is early. This is 1970. So maybe before they recorded it, maybe this was like the first rendition of it, and before they went in the studio and they rewrote the lyrics, which is very possible. So that was interesting, though. It just kind of threw me off a little bit. I was like, that's not how the words go. Okay, look, it worked out, right? There have been many times, I've seen many bands where the singer has forgotten the lyrics and they just made something up on the fly. And it works. It does work. It is noticeable, but I guarantee you, I would rather have the lead singer make up lyrics on the fly that work and they keep going, rather than have them just stand there like a deer in the headlights, like, you know, that's the worst. That's the absolute worst. So whether he forgot the lyrics and improvised something, or those were the original lyrics before recording and they did a rewrite for the purpose of recording, either way, it's fine. I wasn't ready for it. That's all. Let's keep going here.
Politicians hide themselves away. They only started their war. Treating people just like boys and girls. Wait till the judgment day comes. Yeah. People running like a sheep in fields. People blowing out their minds. Say that you got you there, I know it now. Say you're gonna run the end. Yeah.
This has got to be an early version. He's taking the lyrics I've heard on the recordings, and all the recordings I've heard of this have the same lyrics. They're not lining up with what he's saying. So this has got to be an early pre-recording version. It's got to be. They must have done rewrites in the studio for whatever reason. Maybe the producer didn't like the subject matter. Maybe the band as a whole just thought maybe we could write something that's a little more conducive to the song. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they just had a change of heart and said, let's try something different. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why bands do rewrites. There's a ton of reasons. So any of the reasons is perfectly valid too. Listen, it's their song. If they want to change things, they are free to do so. And it's nobody's business or right to criticize them for changing things to make it better. You know, I mean, no one has that right other than the band. So it's not bad. I'm not put off by it. It's throwing me. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not how it is on the recording. So it is kind of throwing me for a loop. I'm not gonna lie. It's like, wait a minute, that's not how it goes on the record. But it's fine though. And the thing is, it sounds good. It's working. There's been a couple of lines. I have no idea what he's saying, but there have been a couple of lines where the accents and the vowel formations I actually like better than there is on the recording. And I'm just sitting there going, why did they change it then? It actually sounds good. I cannot explain it. I cannot explain it. The only people that know are the four men you see in front of you right now. They're the only ones. and the producer, whoever the producer was. It's amazing how much energy and stage presence Ozzy Osbourne has while holding on to that microphone stand for dear life. He's literally holding on to this thing like, oh God, please don't let me fall. You know, it's amazing though how much stage energy he's able to produce while doing that. I mean, he's moving around within arm's distance to the mic stand. He's never letting go of that mic stand. It's just funny to me. It's funny because as I know, looking at live Ozzy from like 82 on, he didn't do that. I mean, he had the mic stand, but he would take the mic off the stand and he would walk all over the stage and, or, run, or depending on what year you're looking at, waddle or, whatever. But, it was always fun to watch him though, running around the stage. So it's a little different seeing him here. I guess it's an issue of confidence. Maybe he doesn't have the confidence yet. Maybe he feels like he has to stay on that mic stand and hold on for dear life. Maybe that's his. And I've heard of this before. Like where a lot of singers, when they start out, they do the same thing. They hold on to that mic stand for dear life, and they never move away from it. And it's like a security blanket. It gives you that sense of confidence. It gives you that sense of security. It gives you that sense of, I'm here. I'm safe here. If I go too far left or right or forward or back, I might not be safe. But here, in my domain, with the mic in front of me, I know I'm safe. So, I've worked with singers like this, and it's fun to watch them evolve, and it's fun to watch them eventually come out of their shell. I remember when I was in a band many years ago, and the lead singer would never leave center stage. It didn't matter if he had the mic in his hand or if it was on a mic stand or what. He would never leave center stage. And I remember after rehearsing and playing with these guys for about 6 months, I walked up to the lead singer and I was like, I'm just curious, dude. Why don't you ever come out and rock out with me? And he looked at me and he looked around. He looked at me back. He looked back at me again. He's like, is that okay? And I'm like, is it okay? You're the lead singer, Come on, man. You're the front man. You should be able to come and go wherever you want. He looked at me again. He's like, are you sure? And I was like, yes, I'm sure. Come over and rock out with me whenever you want. And then the next rehearsal, he did. And I remember the guitar player looked at me like, what just happened? The lead singer left. After the rehearsal was done, the guitar player went over to the lead singer and he was like, dude, it's about time. And I'm like, why didn't you guys tell him that before I got here? So, I mean, it's funny to watch lead singers evolve. And it's fun to watch Ozzy in this very infancy early stage without the confidence that he has now. Like I said, holding on to that mic stand for dear life. It's fun. It's kind of fun. Anyway, let's keep going. The guitar solo to War Pigs has always been one of my favorite guitar solos from Black Sabbath. The bends, the pull offs, the the riff, the repeated riff, the 175, 175, that it's very reminiscent of Ace Frehley's solos from Kiss, but he does it with his own style, and he'll do it all over the place. He won't just stay on. See, here's my gripe with Ace Frehley when he does it. He usually does it on either E or A. He never leaves those two keys when he's doing those, 175, 175, he always does it on either E or A. See, Tony Iommi will go everywhere with it. I mean, he'll do it on E, he'll do it on B, he'll do it on C, he'll do it on G, he'll do it on F, he'll do it on F sharp, he'll do it on C sharp, he'll do it wherever the hell he wants. And it always sounds good. And he doesn't overdo it either. He'll do it like 3 or 4 times, and then he moves on. And I've always respected that about Tony Iommi's guitar solos. He never lingers on the same thing for too long. He'll do it long enough to make his point, and then he moves on to the next phase. And I've always dug that about Tony Iommi's solos. Always. And I'm glad to see him doing it live. It's the same thing. Even in his early days, it's the same thing. He never stays too long. He never overstays his welcome. And I dig that. Heard some great fills right there also before the solo. Coming out of the riff, setting up the solo, I heard some great some great fills from Bill Ward. Fantastic. Really, really nice fill work. Geezer Butler is one of the best bass players in rock. I'm sorry, he is. He is so rock solid. And at the same time, while being rock solid and being able to sit in the pocket and groove with Bill Ward, he's able to move around when necessary and when needed. He never goes too far. He always goes, he'll move, and he'll play like a counter melody to what Tony Iommi is doing, but he'll always come to a certain point, and then he'll stop and return back down to the root again. To reestablish the bottom. And I dig that. I absolutely dig that. And it's good to see him doing it live here. So, good stuff. Let's keep going.
On the scene of Beast appears, head is falling at his knees.
That's not the lyrics, but okay.
He sends out hero fire. To the fire, praise for all bad sinners. Watch them eating dead rat sinners. Saying where you go, through black masses people go. Oh Lord, yeah.
This has probably been my favorite part of War Pigs is the ending. That do 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 do, and then those accent hits. Boom, 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 da 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 da. I've always dug that, man. I've always dug that. That whole last verse, the entire last verse, was completely different lyrically from what we hear on the albums. But you know what? I gotta say, I kind of like what he did there better. I don't know, man. It's a tough call, but it's interesting. It's really interesting to see, early versions of songs and how they have changed over time. From early, from what you scratched out on a piece of paper on a tour bus or whatever, in a hotel room or whatever, to what it will eventually become on a finished and final product. There's always this evolution, always. Very few songs that I've ever been involved with with bands that I've been involved with have ever been the exact same from its very infancy to finished product. It's rare. It's very rare. Something changes. Always. Not okay. Maybe not always. There are rare occasions where it does stay the exact same from start to finish, but it's very, very rare. It's cool to see this. It's really cool to see this. Let's keep going here, and let's see if I can finish this out without having to pause again. Back up. Good ending. Really good live ending. Okay. I have some thoughts. Not many. Like I said, I know this song inside and out, so there's really not a whole lot to talk about. But I do have a couple of points, and we'll talk about them in the review. I'll see you there. Well, there you go, folks. That was Black Sabbath with a live performance of their classic tune, War Pigs. This was a request from Donna Rizzuto. Okay, before I give my score, there's a couple of things I have to mention. Number one, and I need to make sure I make this very clear to everybody before I give my score, because what I'm going to say about the score is going to probably confuse some people. So let me make this very, very clear. I am not in any way, shape, or form taking the song itself into account with my scoring, okay? I'm not going to be talking about songwriting. I'm not going to be talking about chordal structures. I'm not going to be talking about time signatures. I'm not going to be talking about anything like that, okay? So please keep that in mind. Reason for that is I know this song. I know this song extremely well. I've heard this song more times that I can possibly count, and I've heard several other bands and performers cover this song, so I've played this song myself several times, so I know this song inside and out, forward and backwards, so I cannot do an honest reaction to it. So therefore, I am not taking the song itself into account in my score here. I am only going to be discussing and scoring the live performance. That's it. Okay, so please keep that in mind. Second thing I want to mention is, not only am I familiar with the song, this is actually one of my favorite Black Sabbath songs. It really is. I would easily put this song in the top 10 without question. Possibly top 5, depends on the day. But I love this song. I really do. And I want to be clear about that. And I want to be clear that I'm going to do my best. Now, no promises, but I'm going to do my best not to be biased here, okay? I'm human. So if I do come off as a little biased, I probably am being a little biased. I'm going to do my best not to be, but I might be. So Just giving you all fair warning, okay? Okay, that being said, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give that performance, that live performance, I'm going to give that an 8.4. Yep, 8.4. I feel good about that score. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Okay, first of all, they did a fantastic job playing the song instrumentally. It sounded fantastic. Geezer Butler, the way he plays bass, man, with his fingers up on the neck playing. I mean, I do that sometimes when I'm playing jazz music just to make it a softer attack and a smoother attack. I move my hand away from the pickups. But the whole reason I move them away from the pickups like that is to give it, like I said, a softer attack, a more legato attack. Geezer Butler gets a solid hard attack. I mean, it's very percussive attack that far away from the pickups. Imagine what kind of sound he would get if his hand was over the pickups. I mean, that would be a very, very hard attack. So I'm glad he plays the way he does. It's a little unusual to see it being done. I already talked about Geezer Butler's bass playing. I love his ability to move out away from the root, move around, play a counter melodic line or even a harmonic line at times, and then come back and reestablish the bottom end again. I've always respected that about Geezer Butler, and I would with great amount of confidence, I would say he's one of the greatest rock bassists of all time. He really knows how to create a foundation, especially playing with Bill Ward. Speaking of Bill Ward, phenomenal drummer, great feel for this band. And it was interesting to see him playing in the band's infancy, just how good he really is. Super tight. His fills are phenomenal. Great cymbal work, knowing when to hit cymbals, when not to hit cymbals, when to rely on toms instead, which I love. I love tom work. And boy, towards the end there, man, he was pounding on those drums, man. As I like to say, he was committing a hate crime on those drums, man. He really was. Just pounding away like you're supposed to, obviously. But I mean, it was just a lot of fun to watch it with those exaggerated hand motions. Da, 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 da. You know, it's fun to watch that. Tony Iommi, very much like Geezer Butler, one of the greatest metal and hard rock guitar players of all time. I love his soloing style, man. I always have. There is not a single guitar solo that I've heard him play that I have not enjoyed. There's not been a single guitar solo I've ever heard him play where I have been like, I don't know about that one, you know. Yeah, but every guitar solo I've heard him play, I've enjoyed. He has such a sense of being able to play the right kind of solo to coincide and fit the style of the song that they're playing. He does, man. If it's a faster song, he knows it's gonna need to be a little bit of a lighter touch with the guitar so he can get, you know, the speed going that he needs. Where if it's more of a slower song, not like a ballad, but if it's a slower tempo songs, he knows that he can sustain and he can bend and he could, you know, put more emphasis on even lower register notes as opposed to higher register notes. So I've always dug Tony Iommi's style when it comes to soloing in particular. On top of that, got to get credit for the guy to be able to play as well as he does when he's missing, you know, 2 of his digits on his left finger, or his left hand. He's missing like the tips of his index and middle finger, I believe it is. And for a while, he was playing with a prosthesis that he actually made himself. And after a while, it wasn't necessary, and he was able to take out the prosthesis and just play with what he had. That was a tragic accident, man, losing your fingertips like that in a press of all things. I think it was a machine press. I think that's what he said it was. I remember watching the documentary on these guys, and it was like the day before they were going to go on tour, or they were going to go on the studio. It was the day before they were going to do something big, and he was working at this factory, and the factory, the supervisor told him to go work on this machine that he had never worked on before. He had no experience, no training on this machine, and he lost the, like I said, the tips of his, I believe it was his index and middle fingers in the press. So that sucks, man. But look, perseverance, right? You adapt, you overcome, you improvise. You adapt, you improvise, you overcome. Heartbreak Ridge, great movie, by the way. Great Clint Eastwood movie. But he did, and he went home and made this prosthesis and carried on. Very cool. Watching Ozzy perform live early on, it's a trip. It really is a trip. Seeing how he was from the 80s on, running around the stage like a madman, to the early days, like really early days here, like I said, 1970, where he was literally holding onto the mic stand for dear life. Like, he would not let go of that thing. He held on like the entire performance, whether it was up at the top or holding onto the stand with one hand or two hands or one hand. It was always a hand somewhere on the mic stand. And like I said, I've seen singers in their infancy do the same thing. It's not uncommon, okay? And it's not a critique. It's interesting to see it, that see the Ozzy that we all know now and love, from the 80s on, where he's literally running all over the stage, or like I said, in his later years, waddling all over the stage, to where he was back then, holding onto the mic stand for dear life. It's interesting to see the evolution and how he grew. Having said that, his vocal delivery was fantastic from a live performance standpoint. His pitch sounded, for the most part, really good. A little pitchy at times, but I mean, it's a live setting. What do you expect? Let's see, what else? It was amazing to see how much energy he was able to create, standing in practically a circle, a small little radius, like a little 3-foot radius around the, so basically within a range of about 6 feet. Always having the hand on the mic, so he didn't move very far. But it was amazing to see just how much energy he was able to create at the mic stand. The headbanging constantly going when he wasn't singing. Looking into the crowd, engaging the crowd, always a good thing. I mean, that's really all there is to it. I mean, like I said, I'm trying not to be biased here. I'm trying my best not to be. I'm trying to be objective. But that really is all there is to the show. I mean, Ozzy was doing like 90% of the stage presence work, and he did a great job of it. Geezer and Tony were really more about focusing on what they were playing. I will say Bill Ward, a lot of the actions he was doing with his arms didn't have to be that big. Let's be honest. You don't have to go up over your head to crash down on the cymbals. You don't have to. You could bring your hands right here and crash on the cymbals and you'll be just fine. So I gotta give Bill Ward some credit too. Those over-exaggerated motions on the arms, that's showmanship. That's absolutely showmanship, and I gotta give it to him. So that's how we're coming to the 8.4. I feel good with that score for the live performance. Remember, I'm not grading the song at all. I'm giving it the 8.4 on the live performance. And I will say this also in closing. Hearing the differences in the lyrics, like the last verse was completely different from the original album. I mean, completely different from all the albums I've heard. But it was interesting to hear this different rendition. At first, on the first chorus, when he did the first verse, I thought to myself, that last line, I was like, maybe he just forgot the lyrics. Now, I'm beginning to think that he didn't forget the lyrics at all. I think these were the original lyrics before they did a rewrite. Probably one of several rewrites, knowing how recording studios and record companies are. So it was kind of cool to hear a song in its infancy, in its very beginning stages, like the first draft. You know what I mean? As opposed to what we hear now in the final product on the album. So that was cool too. I did give a couple of points for that as well. So an 8.4 is where we are, and an 8.4 is where we're going to stay. So 8.4, final score, I have spoken. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Hopefully I was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, then I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you did enjoy the show and you would like to see more videos like this, feel free to join the fan base by clicking on that button down there. Yeah, you know the button I'm talking about. Click on that button, join the fan base, and become one of us. Now, for whatever reason, if you don't feel like clicking on that button, that's okay. I still respect you. Also, if you did enjoy the video, please feel free to give the video a thumbs up. It'll do me a world of good, and it will do you absolutely no harm whatsoever. Finally, if you guys do join the fan base, you will find a bell down there that you can click on. By clicking on that bell, it'll keep you up to date on everything happening with this channel, including when new content gets dropped. So, if you want to stay in the know, click on the bell, and you'll stay in the know. Well, that's going to be it for tonight, folks. Until next time, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later. Peace.